and this is Friends
Talking about
movies. Alright, so what are we talking about today?
We're talking about Unsane with Claire Foy. I was about to say boy.
Claire Foy. So Claire Foy is currently, I don't know if it's done or if it's getting a season 3, but she's in The Crown. She's in this movie, she's in Season of the Witch, and a lot of TV stuff. And this is directed by Steven Soderbergh, which means that it is a slowly paced character piece.
I finished my homework.
Yeah, it started off slow. It keeps a pretty steady pace.
Yeah, so what he means is that if you're used to ramping plots, this isn't the movie for you.
Yeah, if you're expecting that, prepare to be more slow.
Yeah. And I don't mean that with any disrespect. It's that kind of movie where it keeps a pretty even pace. It's really all about the characters. Whatever the movie defines the main characters as, that's what the movie is about. It's about nothing else.
Those are from crazy people.
Yeah.
The setting and everything else in Steven Soderbergh films always act as a backdrop to just the character study. So that's what kind of movie it is. So what's the plot like?
So Claire Foy plays a woman who we find out has, did the actor say she has PTSD because of a stalker?
I would argue yes, and she seems to have been
protecting me.
abused.
Yeah, so post-traumatic stress, she's prone to anxiety, and there's one scene in the beginning of the film where she's at a bar, clearly been drinking, and she's talking to a man, and
she's the one that initiates. She tells him straight up, you know what this is going to turn into. If that's what you're expecting, then don't worry about it. That's what's going to happen. Just never talk to me again.
Yeah, and when they reach her apartment and they begin making out, it's like she snaps out of a dream or a trance.
She freaks out, runs away, locks herself in the bathroom, and the guy just leaves.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then basically, like, if I remember correctly, cut to her in the therapist's office?
Yeah, it actually did that really fast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And she's talking to the therapist, and then the therapist has her sign some forms, which the therapist says these are procedure.
So basically, right, this whole thing, majority of the movie plays out in a psychiatric ward of a hospital, and it's about what happens to people while they're in there. She goes in there relatively sane, as you'll see when you watch the film. But she comes out quite tweaked, understandably so by the end.
Yeah, like it's I think that's one of the things I did like about this film was the pace is so steady that you get to see her slow descent into madness.
To use a stock phrase.
Yeah.
I'm full of stock phrases. Stock phrases are good sometimes because you don't have to think.
I think that was a plus in the film. What do you think?
That specifically was a plus in the film. No. So here's the thing. When I do like Steven Soderbergh movies, it's when he does these character studies and they're carried out quite effectively. This movie, for the most part, does just that. Typically, okay, like, I like a few Steven Soderbergh movies, but by and large, like, there are more that I don't like than the ones that I do. This lands somewhere in the middle, and let me tell you why. Claire Foy cannot do an American accent to save her life. So her family is supposed to be Bostonian. Bostonians speak with a very distinct accent from the eastern seaboard in the New England area of the United States. She can't decide whether her accent is Californian, which most people typify as American, or if she's British.
Yeah.
She's not a bad actress, okay? In The Crown, she's freaking wonderful. I think she plays Queen Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's wonderful in that show. She's pretty damn good. Just make her British. She cannot do American. No. No American for her. No. Because it almost ruined the damn film for me. There's a scene in there.
My job is to access and interpret data to produce analytical results. I did that job. Taking your frustration out on me will not alter the results. You're quite within your rights to take your business to another bank. Another analyst may interpret the data more to your liking, but they'd be doing a bad job. Good morning. What?
Yeah.
Who talks like that?
I don't hear Americans ending angry phone conversations like that.
It's so rare, and it's usually by really old people. On occasion, I've heard it on British television, but I mean, other British TV shows I watch don't say that, so I imagine it's fairly rare even there. I'm like, what was that? Whoever wrote this needs to pay attention to the way people actually talk.
Yeah, the dialogue's kind of weird because it's not dialogue. It's not dialogue I would hear around me.
It doesn't feel natural.
Doesn't feel natural. Doesn't feel real.
And then when you layer that on top of Claire Foy's slipping accent, which is reminiscent of Natasha McElhone in the Hank Moody thing.
Yeah.
What was that called? Californication.
Yeah, Californication.
Except Natasha's accent stays consistently that, so you adjust.
Yeah.
Right? It's consistently that. So you're just like, oh, that's how she talks. It's an idiolect.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. Claire Foy keeps switching accents, and it's weird.
Yeah.
So I kept, like, I would get invested in these other characters in the movie, and then all of a sudden she'd come on, and I'd be like, oh, I'm watching a movie. And if you're trying to do a character study, that's not what you want. The reason I wanted to talk about this film, though, isn't because Claire Foy is in it. It's actually because it was in the media for being the first feature film, to be shot entirely on an iPhone.
Yeah, an iPhone 7 Plus to be exact.
Oh, to be
Yeah.
exact.
Yeah.
I see. He wants me to be exact.
I'm sorry.
I
on the Filmic Pro app.
I'll have links to that in the description. I actually think it's a really great app. And I've had it for a while. I've used it for other things, but I never thought to use it for YouTube.
Yeah.
So I might just do that.
And when you watch the film, if you stare through an iPhone recording all the time,
Which
you can
I do.
you can tell that it's an iPhone.
You can.
But-
I mean, it's nicely color graded. They did a really great job editing.
Yeah, they did an awesome job actually.
So, I know it may seem like I thought the movie was bad. I actually really liked it. It's just Claire Foy. She kind of wrecks it for me a little bit. Everybody else is fucking wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, they're great. And the cinematography is a cross between like a slice of life film in terms of style, and it uses some horror elements to kind of ramp up the unease between her and the stalker posing as an orderly at the facility she's, I'm going to say, incarcerated, because she's basically there against her will.
Yep.
There are a couple things, plot and dialogue-wise, that kind of irritated me. One is that a therapist would never, or any sort of mental health clinician, would not trick a person into signing a voluntary 24-hour,
psychiatric
Yeah.
quote.
and she tricks her. She says it's basically a boilerplate contract with, a privacy disclosure and all this. Oh, it's nothing to worry about. So she just signs it, doesn't read it. If you did that in real life, you would lose your damn license.
Yeah. So, that's kind of like I guess, unrealistic to me.
And at first, nobody really explains to Claire Foy's character, who goes by the name Sawyer Valentini, which is a very strange sounding name to me.
Yep.
The two names apart are fine, but together they just seem weird.
It was an odd name.
It's like you did, character name generator, click, and then,
Yeah, it showed up and they took it.
Exactly. That's literally what it sounds like to me. So there's that. And the other thing is that nobody ever explains to her in the beginning what's going on, which is also unethical.
Yeah.
To the best of your ability, you're supposed to disclose to the patient why they're there.
Yep.
And they don't do that in the beginning, and that's highly illegal.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote the story should have done more research. But apart from those things, apart from Claire Foy, those foibles in the dialogue/plot, once the things in the mental institution start to happen, the movie is really good, and it is a character study on what happens to somebody when you make them believe they're insane.
Yep.
And then they find out they're not, and then they have to do something crazy in order to survive.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what it is.
I thought they executed it well.
Me too.
Yeah. So apart from the bad accent of Claire Foy, what would you give this?
And some of the
Some
more
of the
chintzy plot devices, I'd say it's pretty solid actually. Technically it's good. And the thing I want to say about this film being shot on an iPhone 7, if you want to make a movie, if you want to do anything, if nothing else, watch this movie because it is a study on how to carry that out.
Yeah.
Learn as much as you can about the production process behind it, because if you can shoot a movie that makes it somewhere on a phone, you have no reason not to try.
Yeah.
If you like our videos, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. That's the first time I've ever said that, so I hope you like it.
Yeah, so thumbs up, guys.
Yeah, gotcha.